What's going on, Jerome's? So messy ass garage rant, doing some spring cleaning right now, but the NFL draft is mercifully approaching, and there's always this conversation and this debate of, do you draft for need or do you draft best player available, BPA? So you build up your chart and you trust your board, and whoever is at the top of your board, if they're available when you're selecting, you take them. Right now, to a degree, like, there has to be a bit of discretion, right? Because otherwise, maybe you'll end up with 17 running backs and 35 right tackles, right? So, to a degree, best player available, it's true, yes. And also, BPA is the luxury of teams that have already made it. Mama, I made it, right? But after free agency, it does seem like teams do pigeonhole themselves into a spot where they need a certain position, right? Where team X, Y, Z, the Giants need a wide receiver, the Chargers need a wide receiver, an offensive line, etc. And yes, the Vikings certainly do have needs. You look at defensive line, you look at offensive line, you look at cornerback, and especially quarterback, right? So Kirk Cousins left, you have Sling and Sam Darnold in the building, but the Vikings, especially in this deep-ass quarterback class, could and should be looking to find their quarterback in the future. Now, there's something that we refer to a lot called the quarterback tax, where it's not so much financial, but in terms of draft capital, you have to go and try and find your guy. And teams do crazy things, trading up multiple first round picks to go try and go get them, because at the end of the day, I mean, first round picks are basically lotto tickets. And if you hit on your quarterback, hey, do you think the Bills could go back in time and spend 3 first round picks on Josh Allen again? Yes. Do you think the Chiefs would give up 5 first round picks for Patrick Mahomes? Yes. So if you hit your guy, you hit your guy. And that's what's important. But say the Vikings find trading up, the juice is not worth the squeeze to get into the top 5 for one of the big 4 quarterbacks. Now, they could stick and pick at 11-23 and take a quarterback there, or they could go a different direction, or they could trust their board. And, BPA is exactly what the Vikings have done in the past. You look at 1998. So Randy Moss fell to the Vikings in the 20s. And, this was even before 3 wide was the norm. Like 11 personnel was the norm. I mean, it was still, well, you were on the pro style set with your running back, your fullback, your tight end, and 2 wide receivers, right? And the Vikings could certainly air it out, and they had Chris Carter, who's one of the greatest receivers of all time. Also, Jake Reed, the pride of Grambling, had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons from 1993 to 1997, right? So the Vikings were actually kind of good at receiver, but they're just like, hey, Randy Moss, we're going to take you, and we'll figure it out. Also, the 2006 Vikings had a free agent running back coming over from Baltimore named Chester Taylor. And Chester ran for 1,000 yards in 2006. But the Vikings had the number 7 overall pick in 2007, and beep, bop, 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 boop, Adrian Peterson was there, and they worked things out, right? And also, to a degree, you look at 2015, so Danielle Hunter, 3rd round pick, number 88 overall, coming out LSU, 4.5 career sacks, but the talent was certainly there. And the Vikings certainly had other needs, and you're thinking, okay, you're going to spend a 3rd round pick. Well, I guess that was technically day 2 back in the day, but now it's day 3. Doesn't matter. Anyways, but you spend a 3rd round pick, which is still a significant capital, a top 100 selection, on an edge rusher when you had Everson Griffin, when you had Brian Robinson. It's okay. That's what the draft needs to be. And once teams get to the point where they're not just drafting for survival mode, just get good players in your building regardless of position. And guess what? The coaches will work things out. And we said, like, BPA at the top of the draft. Maybe the Vikings at 11 take a tackle like Tulisa Fuaga. Maybe Joe Alt somehow, some way falls down. Troy Fautanu from Washington. And you're like, okay, well, the Vikings don't really need a tackle. It gives you options. It gives you options. And also, tackle is a premium position. And if the Vikings, say they don't extend Darrisaw, I think that they will, but maybe they don't. Fautanu, Fuaga, or Joe Alt especially will give you options. Or you look at Fuaga especially, I mean, he's a right tackle by trade. He could replace Brian O'Neill, or he could reduce inside at guard for a couple seasons and then move from there. And then edge rusher. That's also an important one, right? So you look at Latu, you look at Dallas Turner. Both of them have been brought in for 30 visits by the Vikings. Also, you look at Jared Verse. Hey, if one of those guys is at the top of your board of who's left at number 11, take him. And even though the Vikings, they brought in John Grenard, big time money. Van Ginkel, decent money. Jihad Ward, decent money. And also you got Patrick Jones second. you could never have enough dudes who can get the quarterback. And it's like, it is a very good problem to have. It's like, oh, you don't need Danielle Hunter. You got Everson and Brian Robertson. You're always drafting for the future, right? And just getting the tier 1 talent in there as opposed to, and we're guilty of this too. Like we go into mock drafts. Well, we need to check these boxes. We need here, 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 here. Doesn't matter. Especially day 3. Just get good players in rounds 4 through 7. And the Vikings have 7 selections day 3 this time around. So hopefully the Vikings will be doing just that. And like I said, quarterback tax trumps everything. So if the Vikings want to trade up and find their quarterback, or they just stick and pick and take one at 11, go ahead. Go ahead. But other than that, I mean, just get whoever the hell is at the top of your board. If it's offensive lineman, if it's a D lineman, if it's a corner, great. Good, great, grand, wonderful. And also, cornerback too. So at 11, you could have Quinion, Terry Arnold, Wiggins, Kool-Aid, Cooper DeJean, whoever at corner, either at 11 or 23. And yeah, you did bring in Shaq Griffin. Yeah, you do have Murphy. Yeah, you do have Mekhi Blackman, 3rd-round pick last year. Don't care. Don't care. You can't have enough pass rushers. You can't have enough corners, and also you could always deal with having offensive linemen. So say the Vikings at 11, and Rome Odunze, the superstar receiver from Washington, or Brock Bowers, the middle of the field tight end assassin, is available at 11. Now, do the Vikings need a wide receiver or tight end? No. But did they need a wide receiver in 1998? No. Did they need a running back in 2007? No. But guess what? Get supreme talent and huge value at according to your board at whatever pick, and the coaches will figure things out. Because best player available in the draft, you sign for need in free agency and go from there. But that's it. Anyways, raw real rant. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, no production value.